The rain was gentle that evening at Cobham, the kind that made the world seem to pause and listen. In the empty corridors of the training ground, a single figure walked with heavy, determined steps. That figure was Cole Palmer, a young midfielder, whose journey from an overlooked academy talent to one of the most intriguing new faces in Chelsea's tactical revolution had captured whispers across football forums and punditry alike for years. Cole had been the quiet shadow in a bustling city academy, a player with immense potential, but one whose brilliance was often muted by the roar of more established stars. His early days at Manchester City were marked by sporadic appearances, a glimpse of a talent that promised creativity, intelligence, and a knack for transforming simple plays into orchestral performances. Yet, amid the glitz and glitter of big signings and star-studded lineups, his true worth had been hidden in plain sight. But fate, as it often does, had plans that would overturn expectations. Chelsea, in a move that shocked conventional transfer narratives, saw something in Cole that others had missed. They believed that beneath his quiet exterior lay the mind of a master tactician, a player who could control the tempo of a game, not through dribbles and flair, but through precision, intelligent positioning, and quiet determination. Under the watchful eye of coach Enzo Maresca, Chelsea's new architect of attacking play, Cole's story began to change. Maresca, a disciple of positional play and meticulous tactical evolution, had been on a relentless quest to rebuild Chelsea's midfield. The club had been adrift for too long, their engines sputtering with expensive yet underwhelming signings that failed to connect with the team's spirit. In a bold departure from the norm, Maresca's final push concentrated not on the marquee names, but on players who could redefine the game through collective intelligence. And that's where Cole Palmer emerged, a hidden gem, whose unconventional journey promised a fresh blueprint for success. In hushed conversations behind closed doors, the boardroom and training grounds buzzed with a singular mission: to build the future of Chelsea's midfield around a player who was more than just a footballer, but a metronome for the team. Reports surfaced that Maresca had called for private meetings, gathering data, drone footage, and countless hours of analysis, all pointing to one undeniable conclusion: Cole's ability to read the game was extraordinary. He possessed a rare blend of spatial awareness, composure, and a mature tactical understanding that belied his age. Yet, the transformation wasn't instant. In his first days at Chelsea, Cole remained the same reserved, thoughtful young man. But behind the scenes, his environment was changing. The coaching staff, armed with cutting-edge analytics, emphasized drills focusing on pressing patterns, positional rotations, and unexpected one-touch passes, the kind that often turned defensive solidity into attacking breakthroughs. Cole was given responsibility, encouraged to voice his observations during training sessions, and gradually became the nucleus around which Maresca was beginning to design his innovative 3-5 system. Still, not every voice in the club welcomed this shift without hesitation. Some veterans, worn by years of failed high-profile signings and the infamous number 9 curse, doubted whether a player like Cole could shoulder the weight of expectations. His journey from Manchester City, where he had been a mere flash in the pan, Chelsea's marquee ambitions felt too fragile to many. Rumors circulated of a blockbuster bid from Bayern Munich, a club promising not only a high salary but elite exposure on a grand European stage. The whispers turned into heated debates among fans and analysts alike. Was this the moment when loyalty would win over glittering offers of quick fame? That question haunted the airwaves, fueling nightly discussions on sports talk shows, frenzied tweets, and nervous murmurs in cafes around London. For Cole, the pressure was immense. Every training session at Cobham became a quiet test of endurance, focus, and inner strength. He would spend extra hours perfecting his passes, studying game footage until the techniques burned into his mind, determined to prove that he was ready for this challenge. One rainy evening, just after a particularly grueling training match, Cole found a quiet corner of the facility. As his teammates celebrated a hard-earned victory in the locker room, he sat alone on a bench. In his hands, he clutched an old, faded photo of his Manchester City debut, a snapshot of a younger version of himself, full of raw, untapped potential. For a long moment, he simply stared at that picture, feeling the weight of every sacrifice and every expectation that had led him here. Then, almost on impulse, Cole opened his phone, drafted a short but enigmatic Instagram story, a single line that read, "Loyalty over legacy," and then deleted it immediately. Yet, even in that fleeting act, there was a message that resonated deeply. He was choosing his own path, one that wouldn't be dictated by flashy offers or the ghosts of past failures. That evening's silence echoed through the corridors of Chelsea. As news of his cryptic action began to seep out, media outlets picked up on the story. Headlines started to form, speculating whether Cole was about to announce a decision that could pivot the future of his career. And amidst all the speculation, one fact emerged clearly. Cole Palmer was no longer just a name among many. He was, in the eyes of many, the embodiment of a new philosophy of quiet. Revolution poised to challenge the norms of modern football. With the transfer window ticking down and the pressure mounting from Bayern, whispers of personal offers and contracts filling the air, all eyes were fixed on one question. Would Cole embrace his destiny at Chelsea and stand as the beacon of a new era? Or would he be swept away by the glittering allure of alternative opportunities? As the digital clock struck midnight in London, Cole Palmer sat in contemplation, a storm of thoughts and emotions swirling behind his eyes. The stage was set, the battle lines were drawn, and in that charged atmosphere, the quiet resolve of one young man promised to break the cycle of broken dreams and dead-end transfers. The game had begun, and for Cole Palmer, the moment of truth was just hours away. Asterisk. The morning after the storm was unnaturally quiet, the kind of silence that settles before history turns its page. Cole Palmer stood at the edge of the training ground at Cobham, the dew still clinging to the grass like remnants of doubt. The club was tense. Staff whispered in hallways. Players offered half smiles in the dressing room. Fans flooded social media with one burning question. Would Cole stay, or was Bayern Munich about to win the battle for Chelsea's midfield soul? It wasn't just a contract decision. It was a statement about identity, about loyalty, about who Chelsea was becoming. Inside the boardroom, the offer from Bayern lay printed in thick, glossy font. 10 million euros signing bonus, guaranteed starting role, Champions League spotlight, and a promise of silverware. The kind of offer that could make most players pack their bags before their agents even finished the call. But Cole hadn't signed anything yet, not even close. He'd spent the night in reflection, replaying not just his training sessions, not just Maresca's detailed tactical breakdowns, but the weight of every missed opportunity Chelsea had endured in recent years. The endless loop of hyped transfers and short-term fixes, the identity crisis, the fans begging for a player who chose them. What Bayern offered was tempting. No doubt, prestige, power, a chance to prove himself in Europe's most efficient football machine. But what Chelsea offered, that was meaning, purpose, the chance to be the beginning of something, not just another cog in someone else's success. As Cole stepped into Maresca's office that morning, there was no speech, no PowerPoint, just the two of them and a whiteboard covered in notes. The coach spoke first. Greater than I'm not going to beg, Cole, but I'll tell you this. I've built this system around you, not because of your name, but because of your brain. You see things to pass as before anyone else, and this club, it needs you, not just another superstar. Cole stared at the diagrams on the wall. His name wasn't just written in the 11th, it was underlined, circled, central. He wasn't just a part of the project, he was the project. He didn't respond immediately, just nodded, thoughtfully, respectfully. Then, without a word, he turned and left the room. That evening, word broke through the grapevine. No tweets, no statements, just a quiet confirmation whispered by insiders. Cole Palmer had rejected Bayern Munich. He wasn't leaving, and then, a few hours later, a single post appeared on Chelsea's official X account. Image of Cole, mid-training, fire in his eyes, ball at his feet. Caption, "This is home. Let's build it right." Cole Palmer. The fan base exploded. Palmer had just become a symbol. Not of flashy goals or viral moments, but of what Chelsea was trying to become again. A club with heart, soul, and spine. one that didn't need to buy belief from elsewhere, one that could build it in-house, one brick at a time. That week, something shifted at Stamford Bridge. Maresca handed Cole the armband in a behind-closed-doors preseason game, not permanently, but as a message to him, to the team, to the fans, and Cole. He played like a man on fire, not chasing validation, but anchoring everything, organizing presses, spraying line-breaking passes, talking, leading, breathing life into a midfield that had been a graveyard of potential for far too long. The pundits started changing their tone. Palmer's vision is unreal. He's the glue we didn't know we needed. He's not the new Mount. He's the first Cole Palmer and the twist. 3 weeks later, Bayern Munich signed another midfielder. Flashy, expensive, but inconsistent. He flopped in his second appearance. Twitter mocked the decision. Meanwhile, Chelsea, unbeaten in 5 games, midfield purring, and Cole Palmer running the show. But it wasn't the goals or assists that defined him. It was the control, the calm in chaos, the leadership that didn't come from shouting, but from always being one. Step ahead by the time Chelsea faced Liverpool at Stamford Bridge in a blockbuster match. Fans were holding signs that read, "Greater than Cole is our compass. Forget flash. We choose function." Hashtag built around Palmer. He didn't score that game, didn't even assist. But in the 88th minute, as Chelsea led 2-1, he made a sliding interception near the halfway line, calmly beat 2 players, and switched to play with a 60-yard diagonal ball that killed the game. The crowd stood as one. That moment didn't make headlines, but everyone who understood the game, really understood it, knew Chelsea was back. And it was because Cole Palmer stayed. No drama, no last-minute hijacks, just belief. And in that belief, a star wasn't just born, he chose to rise with the club that saw his worth before the world did.